So today is day 145. I didn't do yesterday because I had a big headache and I couldn't do much. And I know that this is not the best light to be filming in because it's straight on my face and it's going to make me squint, but this is all I can manage today. It's funny, I live in a really remote area in a tiny little town, and no matter where I drive to go and do my video, there's always somebody there. There's always somebody parked there or driving past or walking past. It's actually really hard for me to find a place just out of town where I can do filming in the peace and quiet. But anyways, here I am with this lovely backdrop of, I don't know what, mine gravel or something like that you find in a gold town. So what I'd like to talk about today is the thought that we don't have to look after anybody else. And so this is something that is quite new to me, and now that I'm learning more about it, I see that I've spent my whole life trying to look after other people, and really they're not asking for my help and they don't need looking after, but I insist upon trying to help and offering my help and just giving my help without it being asked for. In a way, I've felt like it's my responsibility my whole life to help other people. However, it's actually not. And imagine thinking that you actually don't have to take care of and help other people, and that they are actually totally capable and able to look after themselves. Imagine that. And I'm talking about to the finest points in life, that people actually are capable of looking after themselves and they don't need us looking after them and meddling in their lives. Now, this kind of sounds pretty obvious when I say it like that. But when it really comes down to it and we really start looking at it deeply and taking full responsibility for the ways that we are actually meddling in people's lives and insisting that we help them when they haven't asked for us and they really don't need it. So I'm looking back on my life at the moment and I'm really seeing a lot of problems and trouble that I've created in my life with other people because I've insisted upon helping people when they haven't asked me. And it comes down to the tiniest little things. Telling somebody how to chop vegetables, for instance, when, you know what, I don't have to tell them that. They can actually figure that out for themselves, especially if they're an adult. They can actually learn how to chop vegetables themselves without me telling them how to do it. And when they learn on their own, they're actually going to learn it in their own way, in their own time, and it's going to be empowering them. So I'm kind of looking at it now and realizing all the ways that I've disempowered people by insisting that I help them. And it can be so invisible almost that we don't even realize it's happening. And we have no idea how deep it's actually going on in our lives. So now that I'm looking at it, I'm seeing all these little ways that are kind of woven in of the way that I'm doing it. And so just the thought of me, I don't have to look after anybody, is so revelatory. Okay, I've got to change the angle a little bit. The sun is now disappearing. Anyways, back to what I was saying, that constant feeling that I'm here to help people. And I think as women, we're kind of taught this from a young age, that we have to help, we have to be of service, we have to make ourselves helpful, we have to look after people, we have to mother people all the time, blah, blah, blah. And so as women, if we start to think, wow, we don't have to look after anybody, it becomes so freeing and so expanding, and it allows me to feel just like widening in my whole being of kind of a relaxation that I actually don't have to look after anybody, and that people are really capable of looking after themselves, and I can just trust that. So in that is also this control. So controlling people by looking after them because I don't think that they're capable of looking after themselves. Now, it sounds kind of crazy when I say it that bluntly and blatantly, but that's what it boils down to when you really, really look at it. I dare you to kind of think about, geez, where in my life Do I insist upon fixing things for people, looking after people, doing things for people, guiding people, telling people what to do, when they actually don't ask for that help at all? When never out of their mouth comes the words, can you please help me or fix this for me? But you step in and you do it anyways. I wonder how many times you could see that you do that. And do you do it on a daily basis, or is it just a here and there? It's really interesting to look at. And then you can start asking yourself, well, why am I doing that? Why do I feel like I need to do that for these people? Or why do I feel like I'm the one who always has to step up? And if I am the one who always steps up and nobody recognizes it and says, oh, thank you so much, does that then make me feel mad because they haven't acknowledged it? And of course they're not going to acknowledge it. They didn't ask for it in the first place, silly. So that's what I'm kind of talking about. If you can ask yourself, where am I stepping in for people where I really don't need to be stepping in for people? And when I step in for people, do I get resentful when they don't acknowledge it and say, oh, thank you so much? That's a really interesting question to ask yourself and see where that goes. So that is day 145 out here in the gravel pit.